Josh Whitaker. This is Joe Hamer. We're attorneys with the law firm of McCullers, Whitaker, and Hamer. And we're here today for Real Estate Closings 101. Our topic today are buyers' funds to closing, which sounds like it wouldn't be a topic. It sounds easy enough, bring your money to closing. But there are certain ways you have to do it. We need certified funds for anything over $2,000. So if you owe less than $2,000 at closing, we'll take your personal check for $2,000. Anything over $2,000, we need certified funds, and specifically wires. So if you have to bring $55,000 to closing, we're going to expect that to come to us in the form of a wire transfer from your bank to our bank. Once you know you need to wire us money, we will provide you our wiring instructions. Joe will talk more about that in just a minute. And then you'll have to facilitate that wire. And for some people, that's easy. And for some people, depending on your bank, that's harder.
So, again, we're going to expect a wire from you when we get to a certain amount of funds, which is generally the amount of funds you're going to be bringing to closing. So anticipate sending us a wire. What we're going to do is we're going to provide you with our wiring instructions. We're going to do that securely. You're going to get a secure email from us. We're going to do everything we can to get you those instructions in the safest manner possible. But one thing that is unfortunately all too common today is wire fraud. And there's a lot of bad actors out there who are constantly trying to scam buyers just like you into sending your funds to the wrong place so that they can profit off of your loss.
I think we did a podcast on that.
I think we did too, and it was great, is what I heard. Right. But the point being, we're going to get you our wiring instructions, but just because you're receiving from us and you're receiving from us securely, we're still going to encourage you to call our office and to confirm those wiring instructions. Don't just email us to confirm them. Call, talk to our staff, do everything you can to ensure that what you've got is accurate. Always assume that you're being scammed. That's the way I'd approach it.
Right.
And just approach that situation with an abundance of caution to make sure that what you've got is correct. Once you do have our wiring instructions, I'm always going to tell folks, get us your funds as soon as possible. Now, logistically speaking, with a closing, we may not have your final number for closing until the day of closing, potentially. We're going to always try to get it to you earlier, but you got to think there's a lot of people working together between your realtor, between our office, between your lender to finalize your numbers, and there can be some moving parts in the last couple of days leading up to closing. So there's a chance that you're not going to have your exact figure until the day of closing. Now, a lot of times what we're going to tell you to try to do is get as close to that figure as you can, get an estimate, overestimate if you got to, and if at all possible, send us a wire in advance, and then we can make up that difference with the personal check if need be, or we can cut you a check back in the worst case scenario, or in the best case scenario, rather, that you've sent us too much. But the sooner the better for that wire. A lot of banks, folks think of wire transfers as being instantaneous. In theory, once they're keyed and entered and confirmed, they should be, but that's not the way it works. We see banks where folks have sent this wire the day before and it still hasn't posted 24 hours later. And we won't name names on what banks do better or worse than other banks, but just always anticipate there's going to be a delay. So get that wire to us as soon as possible. Try not to do it the day of closing, or try not to do it just before you're closing. The earlier that you can do it, the better. If for some reason you are getting a certified check, or you elect to go that route, or we approve you to go that route, I would always just remind folks that some banks have limitations on the amount that you can get a certified check for in a day. So you don't want to be in the night, or a wire, exactly. So you don't want to be in that nightmare scenario where you get your bottom line, you go to get a check, or you go to key a wire, and the bank tells you, hey, you can't send that amount today. You're going to have to split it up, and we're going to have to delay your closing. It can happen.
We've seen a lot of times where people come to closing with their computers, get onto our Wi-Fi to send us their wire, which I don't recommend at closing.
That's what we call a mistake.
Right. And then they'll find out, oh, well, this Bank A only allows me to wire $20,000 at a time, and I need to go to a branch. There's not a branch in North Carolina. If you have an internet bank, that doesn't have any branches, you just really have to plan several days ahead of time.
Exactly.
And then I think Joe touched on this. Sometimes there's extenuating circumstances, and we will accept a certified check in lieu of a wire. But that really is an exception to the rule. And usually we want it to be made on a local bank where we can confirm, because that's one of the reasons we want wires now, is because there was a rampant amount of fraud with certified checks. And so if you're coming from overseas, we're not going to accept a certified check from out of the country. We're not going to accept a certified check if there's no local branch we can confirm it with. So if you're planning to bring a certified check for more than a couple of $1,000s, you need to talk to us ahead of time because you might get some bad news when you present it to us and we have no way of confirming it.
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful. We'll see you next time.